G'day Internet, welcome to video 4 in my video development series of development videos. I apologise in advance for the quality of this video because it's raining outside and also I think I'm getting sick. Okay, so today's video, let's see. I'm going to be talking about changing projects, which is what I'm doing, and I'm going to be talking about why I'm changing projects. So let's begin. Okay, so first I should really explain what my original project was before I go changing from it. I've kept fairly quiet about what the project is, and that's because I've always known that it's been very ambitious and that I may need to change away from it at some point, so I've sort of kept the details a bit hush-hush. How ambitious are we talking? You could say MMORPG. It was probably a bit lower scale, sort of smaller scale than an MMO, but you could call it an MMO, and you'd probably be right. I had some fairly sort of clever ideas about how I could make an MMO as just a one-man studio, and they're pretty good ideas, so I might come back to them eventually, but for now, they're going to have to stay on the back burner. I'm just scrolling my script, by the way. So you might be wondering about these sheets of paper on the wall behind me. I think someone in the comments of the last video called them minimalist posters, which I think is excellent. But actually, no, they're I put those up for my video. Because behind them is some, you could call it personal information. Some of it isn't. I don't mind you seeing some of the stuff behind that. For instance, behind one of them is my Getting Things Done weekly review checklist. So that's sort of interesting. But also there's some financial information on, is like my dashboard behind me. And one of them is, the most important one's a sheet of paper with the title Runway, which tells me how much money I have left before I run out, and more importantly, how much time I have left before my money runs out. At the moment, I've got no job and no contracting work, and I'm basically putting all my savings into doing indie game development. And basically, I have a few months. And I won't tell you exactly how many, but it's several months before I run out of money. Fun. Yes. So the bottom line is, after my last video when I was talking about the networking, I went off to do some design on some of the more MMO-y bits of the game design, and basically the conclusion came up with was, this is not going to be done in time to safely fit within that runway. So basically I have to come up with another project that will fit in the runway. And the good news is I've actually got one. And this is a project idea that's sort of been kicking around in my head for a while. And I've sort of been resisting doing it for various reasons. And it sort of, yeah, let's see what my script says. Yeah, basically it's been sort of in my head, and I've finally got around to saying, fine, I will do it, shut up brain. So I'm going to go and do it. So just to give you a bit of background, about nearly a decade ago, actually, another developer made a game called Stick Soldiers, and Stick Soldiers 2, and Stick Soldiers 3, and he stopped making Stick Soldiers 3 and he gave the project to me, and I completely fucked it up, because I was about 10 years younger and not very good at game development, so sort of could be described generously as a learning exercise, or ungenerously as an unmitigated failure. So the game that I'm going to be making is not Stick Soldiers 3. I'm not going to do that. But it will be a 2D front-on multiplayer platformer shooter sort of thing. And you can think of it as like a Stick Soldiers, as like a spiritual successor to Stick Soldiers, if you like. I'm not going to. I'm going to think of it as a completely fresh game. So it will be called Stick Ninjas, and it will be ninja in the same way that the movie The Matrix was full of ninjas, and that is, it will have guns, lots of guns. So yeah, it's going to be unapologetically a PC game. I've spent about the last year and a half making games work on web and on mobile, and to be honest, I'm a little bit sick of that. I don't like having to fight against the platform and the hardware and sort of the platform owner, like for instance Apple, and dealing with the App Store. I want to break from that, so I'm going to make a PC game, and it will be sort of very PC. It will be as PC as I can make it. So level designer, modding, that sort of thing. We'll see what happens there, but that's what I'm going for. And if I have to port it later on to iOS or the web to actually make any money, so be it. That's something I can do, but I'll worry about that later. So unlike the dungeon project that I was talking about earlier, this is something I can get done like a lot quicker. It will definitely fit in my runway, and a lot of the work that I've been doing up until this point is I don't know, it just keeps coming back to this Stick Ninjas project that I've sort of had in my head for quite a long time. I've made a 2D platformer, I've done a lot of 2D physics work. There's the networking code that I showed you last week, that'll go straight into there. So this is something I can get rolling with really quite quickly, and I don't sound it, but I'm actually quite confident about getting this game done and sort of at least released quickly. Speaking of, yeah, oh, and yes, because it's a stick figure game, it will be very easy to make the art for it, which helps me because I'm not the best artist in the world, and saving money on having to hire an artist will be good for my financial situation. So speaking of early release, I'm a big fan of Minecraft, Mojang's Minecraft, and I really like the way they released it as an alpha version really quite early on, and then just continuously improved it and released updates to the community. You know, so Mojang got paid earlier, the fans got the game earlier, and the fans got like a weekly, or not necessarily weekly, but they got regular like updates and sort of new bits of toys to play with. So that's the sort of thing that I want to go for. Also Wolfire's Overgrowth, which they do a weekly development video, which is like a direct inspiration for the videos that I'm doing. And so yeah, they with their weekly video, if you've pre-ordered their game, you can download the build of their game that their video talks about. So I'm essentially going to be doing the same thing because I really like that idea. I think it's good for me financially, and as a game developer I get feedback, and it's good for the fans because they can play the game right away and they get sort of involved in the game being built, which is something I really like. So I'm going to do that, and that's always been the plan. And so with Stick Ninjas I can get to that stage a lot quicker. So right now, stickninjas.com. You can go to that website and put your email address into the email address form, and you will get an email when pre-orders open, which I'm not sure when it will be, but hopefully within the next several weeks. Yeah, so that's all for this week's video. I hope you've enjoyed 10 minutes of my head talking. Sorry. Next week I will hopefully have some actual footage of either gameplay or another prototype of some sort. Next week we'll see what that is like. Yeah, and so I'm very, very hopeful, fingers crossed, that it won't just be me and my head talking to you. It will hopefully be a bit more exciting. So that's what I had to tell you this week. Exciting stuff. If you want to see next week's video, yes, subscribe to me on YouTube. Subscribe to my blog at andrewrussell.net. Follow me on Twitter at _AndrewRussell. And go to stickninjas.com and stick your email address into the pre-order hear about it form. And I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Button.